Let's move on and rebuild our framing. Come into our wall framing. I'm going to rebuild it. Notice there's an option to automatically have the wall framing update. You may find that's beneficial to have that on sometimes. I haven't been using that with this plan. And since we have built our second floor, we have our roof, so I'm going to choose our build roof framing. Again, there's an automatic option if you want to have that set. So the program is prompting me to turn this layer on, and I'm actually not going to turn it on for our floor plan. We'll get this message for each one of the layers that's being rebuilt. And let's go ahead and take a 3D overview of our framing. Maximize this. So we can see our framing, and the first thing we're going to notice is we need to support this roof. I'll do that with a column and post and beam to support that. And there's different views we can toggle on, so you can see through that. Sometimes these views are easier to see. And the next step that we want to do is in this section of the, if you take a look at the photo in the bottom right, we want to expose part of the framing and form a trellis. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. Close this framing view, and let's go ahead and take a regular overview. And what I want to do, let's go ahead and zoom in here. I want to take this view and I want to add our roof framing so we can see that as we expose this. So I'm going to come down in and find our framing section for the roof. And I'm going to make sure that layer is on, which it is. And if we toggle on our glasshouse view, let's go ahead and press Shift F6 on the keyboard here. Bring up both of our views, and I'm also going to expose that roof framing layer on our floor plan. And actually, maybe what I'll do here is let's change our layer set to the roof plan set. So we can see this is overlaid on top of our floor plan. And the first thing I'm going to do, this is the roof plane that we have selected. I'm going to make sure that our automatic roof is not on, because if I make changes to that, it'll instantly update it. So if we zoom in to this section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these lookouts and I'm going to highlight each one of those, and then I'm going to press the delete key and remove those. Now let's come over here with our framing tools, and I'm going to add our blocking, and I'm just going to come in here and add some blocking. And once I have that blocking in place, I'm going to highlight that, and then I'm going to select my multiple copy. You'll find that down here in the lower left menu. And I've got that to be 12 inches every time I make a copy of that, that's a good number. Let's go ahead and create a series of copies down here. And if we zoom into the 3D view, you can see what's going on. Now that I've got those set up, let's highlight our roof plane, and let's pull this section of the roof back. So to do that, I'm going to use my brake tool. You see up here in the lower left menu, brake, and I'm just going to click right here where that rafter is, You can see a diamond that forms, and I'm just going to pull that roof section back so we can expose that. And let's go ahead and toggle back on our regular render view. So we can see that we've formed this exposed trellis, and I can use my material painter, and I can select this, and then I can paint individual components here. And we'll just go through and paint each one of those. It would have been a little quicker for me to maybe paint these before I did a multiple copy, but that's okay. The reason I'm not painting all is if I want my materials list to be accurate, I wouldn't want to paint every one of these members, since it would paint the entire roof frame. The next step that we want to do is we want to create a framing member post and beam to support this roof section. To place the column, I'm going to open up the library, and we're going to type the word column in here, and we'll see if we can find a profile that will work for our design. And I'm going to choose just one of these. Let's go ahead and pull our view out just a little bit. I'm just going to place this out here where we can see it a little bit. And if I double click on this column, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the height and the width and depth. So let's start with 92 inches in height, and we'll do a 12 by 12. So that's going to create a much larger column. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pull that back into approximate position. If we zoom out here just a little bit, let's see if we can line that up with the wall. I'm not going to worry too much about the exact location of it. Now the next thing we need to do is place a beam in here. And with our framing tools, you can use the beam tool. Or alternatively, we can also use our slab tools. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a slab tool, and I'm going to draw a beam right through this section. Let's go ahead and open this up, and roughly we're going to want that to be pretty high. So I'm going to use 222 inches, and I'm going to create an 8 by 8 beam. And as long as I'm in here, let's choose the layer that it's going to be on. And I've got a layer called CAD framing. So let's choose CAD framing for the layer. And then let's also go ahead and set this dimension in here to make it an 8 by 8. And then we can center that roughly on the beam. And let's go ahead and open up that column. And let's also change that to be from millwork to our CAD framing layer. Okay. Now, one of the things that we may want to do here, let's go ahead and take our cross-section view. And again, I'm going to use the back clip. And let's just clip through from this point to this point, and let's see how we've got this set up. You can see where the beam is resting nearly on the top. We had a pretty good guess, so we can just grab that and snap it down on top of the post. And now we've got our support for that. And maybe we'll just pull that back here just a little bit. Let's go back into our 3D view. Let's maximize this. And now we can actually come in here and fix the colors and materials of these two elements that we just added. Again, I'm going to use my material eyedropper. Come in here, choose the color that I want, and we'll just apply that then to the two components.